on this edition of Husky News Network.
And so you have Donald Trump coming to power.
President-elect Donald Trump sparks protests and a national conversation.
Really building his campaign around the white supremacy movement.
One student organization is sparking conversation through improv.
To build a workshop, and it's kind of shifted to more focus on economic justice.
Daybreakers, a new trend that gets you up before the sun. And more coming to you on HNN. Hello everybody and welcome to this edition of HNN. I'm Ashley Young.
And I'm Natasha Chang. Our top story tonight. Boston city officials joined the national protest against President-elect Donald Trump at a rally on the steps of the State House. This was just the latest in many protests happening across the country. Reporter Elijah Kaplan takes a look at this anti-Trump movement.
Citizens have come out to voice their concerns about the election of Donald Trump in more than 80 cities across the country, including Boston. Starting the night after the election, protesters voiced their outrage and determination.
Trump got elected, that's the reality. Now we need to mobilize against him. So we got to start movements to challenge every single right-wing thing that he does.
Often, students are leading these demonstrations. Here at Northeastern, the group Students Against Institutional Discrimination gathered on Centennial Common.
There's a lot of people hurting right now after the election of Donald Trump as President of the United States. They're thinking about this, and we definitely just wanted to provide them with a forum to say the things that they're feeling in a safe environment, and that's what we did.
Mayor Marty Walsh voiced his support for the movement on the steps of the State House.
We will protect our neighbors. We will stand up to hate in all forms. We will move civil rights forward, not backwards.
Northeastern anthropology professor Jeffrey Juris says Trump is unlike any candidate he's seen before.
What happened was the right was much more powerful than we had imagined, the radical right. And so you have Donald Trump coming to power not just as a regular Republican, but as somebody who's really building his campaign around the white supremacy movement. Focusing on building a wall, focusing on Mexican rapists, focusing on rounding and not letting Muslims in. So all these things that made people very afraid. Nobody in my lifetime has done that. So defensive politics necessarily means proactive organizing and building a big grassroots populist agenda. And people, I think, know that viscerally. And now it's figuring out how do we do that. And so I think that's where we are.
Though protesters are voicing their fears of the president-elect's policies, the transfer to a Trump White House moves forward. With further protests planned in the coming months, it remains to be seen if these protests are the beginning of a larger movement or if they will fizzle out once Trump takes office. For HNN, I'm Elijah Kaplan.
Thanks, Elijah. A Northeastern student is making national headlines after his comment about Second Amendment rights goes viral. This is what Tausif Ahassan said at an anti-Trump protest rally on campus in November. Quote, "Exercise your Second Amendment right. Make the NRA regret giving us the right to bear arms." End quote. He did not expect his comments to be heard around the country. The Huntington News published his comments, which were picked up by Breitbart and went viral online. Ahassan feels his comment has been taken out of context.
The speech I gave was pretty short. I think it was 3 or 4 minutes. The comment that the Huntington News reported on was 2 lines that I kind of ad hoc made. That comment, exercise your Second Amendment rights, is about taking that issue away from the Republicans and reframing how the NRA has been discussing the issue, because that's really where we're losing.
Neither Breitbart nor Huntington News responded to requests for comment. Ahassan says he received personal reactions from strangers on social media, but nothing overly upsetting to him. He told reporters he doesn't blame Breitbart for publishing his quote and that he wishes he had been more clear in his message.
The Progressive Student Alliance is campaigning for Northeastern to cut its ties with athletic apparel company Nike. HNN's Dan McClune explains why.
The Progressive Student Alliance is a labor solidarity group. It's a chapter of the United Students Against Sweatshops. We're trying to make ourselves present at athletic events. We went and held up a big sign at the basketball game that said "Cut Nike."
Nike products are all over the Northeastern campus bookstore, and the group wants the university to be aware that Nike allegedly uses sweatshops to turn a profit on its expensive products.
There's a lot that Nike is doing that's very mischievous, and I think Northeastern's administration, when we met with them 2 weeks ago, kind of agreed to this and said that they're monitoring the situation.
The PSA reached out to the university in April with no response and got a reply in September after online petitioning and informing the university of a potential violation to its apparel policy.
Right now, Nike is violating Northeastern's licensing policy by refusing to allow the Worker Rights Consortium access to its factories. There's a pretty glaring violation of the policy Northeastern has that says the Worker Rights Consortium is an agency that gets to determine whether or not our apparel is being made ethically. Right now we don't know, and there's a lot of reason to believe that it is not.
The PSA's online petitioning has collected almost 100 student signatures in an effort to lead Northeastern to sever ties with Nike. Nike had no comment on the ongoing petitioning at Northeastern, and the university did not respond to numerous inquiries asking for a statement.
Not all social activism comes in the form of protests or petitions. Here in Boston, one group is using improv theater to start conversations on racial justice. Ellie Williams has more.
Asian Americans have long been considered to be a non-political group in the United States, but community organizers in Boston are trying to change that. Activists with the Asian Pacific Islanders for Black Lives have teamed up with college students to foster conversations about anti-Black racism and what Asian Americans can do to fight it.
I know there's interest in talking about anti-Blackness and in talking about class at Tufts in the Asian American community, and I think that those are really important conversations to have. So that was kind of where I was coming from in wanting to plan this event.
We have a working group for APIs for Black Lives, and it's on wealth redistribution. So we've been meeting over the course of the last few months to build a workshop, and it's kind of shifted to more focus on economic justice, wealth redistribution, and how both of those things connect to our solidarity with Black communities.
The workshop included a brief lecture by Bishop on the connections between racial equality and wealth distribution, as well as small group discussions and a skit acted out by participants to show ways people can talk to their families about racial justice issues.
Implicated? How are we in any ways implicated in this?
Do you not consider yourself like a racial minority?
I mean, yeah, I do, but it's different.
How?
We're Asian. You know, like, I don't really think that this has anything to do with us.
I really hope that the conversations will continue, especially for people with class privilege, because I think that those are the people who are the most class evasive. So that is my hope. And if not, like, we'll continue to do these things.
APIs for Black Lives plans to continue hosting workshops around Boston, especially since the holiday break will give students an opportunity to have these difficult conversations with their family members. For HNN, I'm Ellie Williams.
For most of America, the goal of getting a higher education is nothing new, and going to one of the country's top universities, such as our own Northeastern University, is often the priority. But those living in rural Uganda, getting through primary school is tough, and getting a higher education is a far-off dream.
As Danae Bucci reports, one Back Bay resident is trying to make that dream a reality for many Ugandan children through the Arlington Academy of Hope.
When Joshua Sims's aunt founded the Arlington Academy of Hope in 2004, he knew that it was something he wanted to be a part of. In 2011, he got his first opportunity to do so by taking a trip to visit the school and bring some much-needed supplies to the town.
It's very rural. They don't have a whole lot of electricity. They have no running water.
Now currently on his 5th trip to Uganda, he's taking a much larger role in the organization by creating a campaign to raise $25,000 to send the graduates of AAH to college.
They come from like kind of the underdog community of their country. And so they see the poverty, they've lived in it, they understand the problems. And so to empower these students through education to be able to change those problems in the future, I think is incredibly important.
Empowerment and an opportunity that most children from this region of Uganda are not accustomed to.
And before, before we had a school like this, the school system was doing really pretty poorly. And it was just repeating of generations and generations of peasants and farmers with no real access to any type of resource that would ever help them progress their life past that.
Now with the chance to go to a school system focused on the growth of its students, the children of Bumwalakani and Bupado are facing a much different challenge.
So right now we have a whole lot of students that have graduated from secondary school and they have really high marks, and they're able to get into top universities, but they don't have the money to do so. So this is a problem, but it's a good problem in a sense because we didn't really think that we would be passing students with like this great grades. So we are trying to raise that money and be able to get these students into those universities.
With so much at stake for these kids, getting a higher education despite all the adversity they face is their #1 priority. Like Mandela once said, education is the most powerful weapon that you can use to change the world. To donate, you can visit fundraise.com/Arlington Academy of Hope. Northeastern University student sets a new Guinness World Record this semester.
3, 2, 1, go.
376 Northeastern students sets the world record in September for the most people crab walking at the same time. Students participating at Centennial Commons had to crab walk for 2 minutes straight without touching the ground.
The Northeastern Resident Student Association has wanted to do this for a pretty long time, and we thought it would be a really great way to bring the Northeastern community together and do something big and really, show how much Husky spirit is on our campus. So we really wanted a record that was most people doing something together so that people really felt like they needed to be here in order for it to happen.
An exciting time for the Northeastern community as the new record of 376 breaks the previous tally of 279 set in Japan.
A new party scene has popped up in Boston, and it all goes down before the sun comes up. Take a look at how Daybreaker is on the rise as everyone's new alarm clock. This is what a group of young Bostonians dancing at a 7 a.m. rave looks like. Daybreaker is a social movement where professionals from around the city meet to dance, drink non-alcoholic beverages, and sweat.
So they start off with some sort of movement and then sort of continue into a dance party. And it's really just energizing them so that they can go off and have a different day than they're normally used to. And sort of spread that around to that positivity, that energy, that just sheer goodness to everyone else in the city.
The biggest goal of Daybreaker is to change the way you choose to wake up and enter your day.
It's a movement that focuses on wellness. Participants arrive at 6 a.m. to start their day with a morning yoga workout before the 4-hour dance party.
Basically, it's a way to inspire people to just enter their day differently. Like, can we wake up at whatever hour you woke up to get here? Can it be this blast of energy and excitement for your day? And just to set the tone, it changes your whole day.
There's something about community. It's finding some people that are interested in the same thing as you. And it's creating a group or a gathering that really excites you, that lifts you up. Something that just starts with an interest can turn into a movement and then a direction. What we had here today was amazing.
I'm here with our own Rachel Petrie, who served as a yoga instructor at the event. Rachel, we saw the footage. It looked like a lot of fun, but what was your greatest takeaway?
I would say for me, it's just about getting out of my normal routine of hitting the snooze button and just getting out and starting my morning by dancing. It's not something that everybody can say they do, but it's a great way to start the day.
And like you said, it might be out of everyone's comfort zone. What would you recommend people, or any advice for them who might be timid?
I would just say just show up. I mean, it's like once you get there, you're not thinking about hitting the snooze button or how tired you are. That's all I have.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Thousands of spectators were on hand at Faneuil Hall for the annual Christmas tree lighting under the glow of 350,000 lights. Faneuil Hall brings the first of many Christmas tree lightings to the city with its massive Norwegian pine tree. The tree is one of the largest of its kind, even larger than the Rockefeller Center tree. The tree lighting ceremony was filled with performances from various bands. But the celebration isn't only just to bring the holiday spirit to those who see it. It's also a drop-off center for the New England Patriots Toy Drive. The Pats are hoping to gather enough toys so that every child can have a Christmas filled with presents.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Enjoy tonight and enjoy the holiday season. There's a lot to be grateful for in our city. We have a great city, so just go out and do one act of kindness to somebody as the holiday goes on.
And the Christmas tree lighting was very interactive with multiple performers from Massachusetts. Certainly a great way to bring Christmas to every child.
Definitely, and that's all we have for you tonight, everyone. Happy holidays, and I'm Natasha Chang.
And I'm Ashley Young.